Hey guys, Connor Brewster here with the Motion Visual. I got a bit of a different video here for you tonight. I'm here to talk about the true history of the first Thanksgiving. So like I said, my name's Connor Brewster, and I'm a direct paternal descendant of Sir William Brewster, who was a pastor and religious leader on the Mayflower. He was a Protestant and part of the separatist movement of English Christians who left Europe to escape religious persecution from the Catholics, who were the dominant Christian religion in Europe at the time. Protestants preferred a more personal and direct connection to God rather than one that was dictated by monarchies and the church. Not only was Brewster a religious leader and an elder on the Mayflower, but he was one of the key figures in organizing and leading the voyage and helping to shape the foundation of what would become the Plymouth colony. He was also the first man on Plymouth Rock. He's like my great-grandfather times 15 or 20 or 30 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Fun little fact, he had two sons named Love and Wrestling Brewster, which are some pretty cool names in my personal opinion. But anyway, I'm a direct patrilineal relation to him, and it's something I'm very proud of. I think it's important to honor his legacy and the half-century of peace that he established with Chief Massasoit and the Wampanoag people, who were the dominant confederacy of indigenous tribes in the Plymouth region of Massachusetts in 1621. When a strange ship appeared on their horizon. Now, some of you might have noticed the Virgin Mary behind me, and you may be thinking that's not very Protestant of me. So here's a fun little twist. My mom's side of the family is actually Irish Catholic, and her father's side is part of the Norris clan, who came to the New World during the potato famine in the 1800s. But here's where it gets interesting. On her mother's side of the family, there's another Mayflower passenger who was also a very dominant figure named Richard Warren. Richard Warren was not part of the religious groups like Sir William Brewster was, but he was just as essential to the success of the Plymouth colony. He was a merchant and trader from London and one of the strangers, as they were known, which were the non-separatist passengers of the Mayflower. He joined the voyage as a signatory of the Mayflower Compact, meaning that he was part of the group that established the colony's self-governance, which is a metaphorical ancestor of America's Declaration of Independence and our Constitution. Warren didn't bring his family at first, but his wife and his 5 daughters followed him 3 years later to the Plymouth colony, and Richard and Elizabeth Warren are among the Mayflower passengers who have the most descendants alive today in America, which is pretty amazing. So I have some pretty incredible Mayflower figures on both sides of my family. So on my dad's side of the family, there's a direct line to one of the colony's leaders and its spiritual heart, Sir William Brewster. On my mom's side of the family, there's a connection to this merchant and trader, Richard Warren, who was a practical thinker and a governmental philosopher. And I'm very proud of both of these things. It's my heritage, they're my ancestors, and a story gets told in a dark light sometimes. What I want to talk about tonight is these early settlers, people like Brewster and Warren, who built relationships with the indigenous people and how that led to the first Thanksgiving. It's a story that often gets stained with accusations of vicious colonization, but when you look deeper, we find a more complex and meaningful truth. One that created more than 50 years of peace, fraternity, and Thanksgiving harvest celebrations between the Pilgrims and the Indigenous Wampanoag people in America. There were two races with completely different cultures and spiritual beliefs, and the Mayflower arrival to the Wampanoag people is the equivalent of an alien ship landing in downtown Manhattan today and establishing a beautiful, lasting peace with mankind, at least for a significant period of time. There's two sides to every story, and usually both are true. So I'm here to tell mine as I believe it to be, and I hope you'll tell yours in the comments below and where you think I'm right and wrong. And if you're interested in this kind of stuff, like and subscribe. I'd like to make more of these videos. I'm a big history fan, and I find a lot of this stuff very fascinating. So without further ado, let's dive into this story about the first Thanksgiving and the 50 years of peace and Thanksgiving celebrations that followed.